This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing.
Welcome to another episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host, Lucas Biggers. Alongside me, I got James, I got Rob. Sakura's going to be out tonight, not feeling too great. Hope you feel better soon, Sakura. All right. Guys, we got a lot of boxing to talk here. Let's start with this past weekend here. Let's talk Berlanga. Stopped by Shiraz. He got beat up in this fight, guys. The COVID King got dethroned this past weekend and stopped in the 5th round. Let's talk on it, guys.
We got whooped. KO'd. It was a long time coming because he's had a lot of decent opponents, but he built up his record. And I think that record was kind of artificial, and they really worked boxing as good as it could be, as good as it could possibly be worked. I think it was 17 or 18-0 first round knockouts.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of work going into that as far as matchmaking goes. We all know that.
Oh, yeah.
But it's time to pay the piper, and he's got some really big opposition coming, especially at 168. Shiraz is serious business there. So I think they did everything wrong, and Shiraz team did everything right. And we got an outcome.
That's a fair assessment. He stepped up his competition. In that COVID era, next year after 2021, and it seemed like all knockouts just kind of came to a grinding halt. That 2020, He went on that, KO spree, and then everything just kind of slowly faded, and we realized Berlanga's not this knockout artist that we wanted him to be. And Shiraz, he was just accurate. I don't even know if he's a power puncher, to be honest with you. He just put the leather on him. He was there to be hit, and Berlanga's defense showed drastically that he is not ready.
He's still a knockout.
Right.
He's still a knockout artist.
Just
I don't know what side of the canvas he's on, but
in the opposite direction.
You see what I did there?
Yeah. Rob, is this something that you were expecting going into this fight?
No, no. Especially with Shiraz's last fight with Adamaez, there was a serious law in action there. I never saw this coming by a knockout, especially considering Berlanga had a strong showing against Canelo, I felt. But when you look at the fight, and you review what happened, like James said, Shiraz and them had the right game plan, and they really studied their opponent for this one, and they stuck to their game plan, and it worked flawlessly. Berlanga did not. He actually, in my opinion, took a step back from the Canelo fight. I don't know if the money got to his head, the fame got to his head. Honestly, at this point, you could say a lot of stuff. It's a lot of issues with Berlanga there. But him getting knocked out in this fashion against a fighter that's not known for deep action actually really is pretty much unknown. We don't know who Shiraz is really until we found out Saturday night. And I hate to say this stuff, but I wouldn't be Rob if I didn't. But we might be looking at one of the biggest hype jobs in the sport of boxing in Berlanga. Okay, we might be looking at one of the biggest hype jobs in the sport. For you to sit there and go follow up a big loss to Canelo, when you had a good performance, and get your ass handed to you and knocked out like that, I'll be surprised if we don't find this kid on the cover of a milk carton in next year.
Isn't it just possible though that Canelo doesn't have that kind of power? We're sitting here at 168. It doesn't necessarily always translate up. So maybe Canelo couldn't get him out of there, and Shiraz can.
I think one of the things there is that Canelo's comfortable winning rounds.
Just beating him up and not necessarily trying to get him
But
out.
Canelo didn't
I think
dominate to
it's
me. Even in the fight against Munguiao, Canelo looked better against Munguiao to me than Berlanga. You know what I'm saying? And in this one, Berlanga has that same style where he comes in aggressive, but he's there to be hit. And Shiraz just laid it on him. He just laid it on him. So I don't even think that power has anything to do with it in this. Berlanga wasn't ready. I mean, it's clear and obvious to me. Berlanga wasn't ready. His team wasn't ready. And that's a huge disappointment.
I agree with that. And one of the things is that, like, for example, say distance. He was in no man's land. He wasn't in, he wasn't away. He was standing there at medium distance. And that is where Shiraz is going to be the most dangerous. And he never came out of that. He never moved laterally. He never, when he was in trouble, he never held. Truth be told, I don't think he could hold anything. He couldn't hold a glass of water with that kind of beating, the kind of beating he was taking. So that's kind of out the window. But honestly, he's standing in no man's land for starters. And I mean, that's a recipe for disaster, especially with a guy as big as Shiraz. He's probably got him by several inches in reach. It's all wrong. And yeah, it tells me that the work in the gym wasn't put in. I mean, I always say this. Fights are won and lost in the corner, and this one was lost in the corner. I mean, they just had no game plan. They had no way of handling him other than trying to intimidate him at a press conference. It's not going to work. Now, maybe we could talk about the fact that they built up his record really well. They did a good job in building this guy up. They worked boxing to the limit. They worked boxing with all the knockouts and first round knockouts and, got him all these big fights. And he did all the talking that he needed to do to get these big fights. He got Canelo. How many people are waiting for Canelo? How many people? Benavidez has not had a fight with Canelo. This guy got one. He got one with Shiraz. He is kind of a promotional machine in a sense. But my real question for Benavidez is, for Berlanga, I'm wondering if you're going to do a victory lap as well.
No.
I looking at Berlanga, I'm still confused on why he got there too. I think the only reason that he's in there with, especially got the Canelo fight, was because Canelo can sit there, see that record, and be like, "Well, that's fake. It's fake as $2 bill." I mean, he's fought nobody. He's still green, and I mean, it's easy to tell that we all could tell he cannot box. He can't box against Shiraz. He can't box against anybody. He ended up biting somebody else because he gets so frustrated that he doesn't know what he's doing in there. And if that knockout don't come, chances are against anybody else that's a halfway decent boxer, he's going to lose. Berlanga, I would agree with Rob, is a hype job. Maybe not the biggest one. I mean, you talked about him like he's
Up
Seth
there.
Mitchell.
He's
He's no Seth Mitchell, but he's up there.
Look, James, you know what they call that performance for Shiraz on Saturday night? He
What do they
shoe
call it?
shined his ass.
Yes. Yes, they did.
Sakura's right. Berlanga was standing right at the end of Shiraz's punches. Just like James said, yeah, James right about the distance. I agree with you. He didn't know how to get in and get out. He just kind of stayed in. I don't know what he was thinking. Terrible game plan.
Well,
You're right, James. I mean, the corner, everything. It was just a terrible, terrible fight.
the only thing I can say to Berlanga is you need to watch this show and learn a few things. You need to tune in every Thursday.
We'll teach you something.
It's to that point where everything he did was wrong. Everything.
Yeah, And to defend Shiraz a little bit, I mean, Rob, you kind of sounded like you were thinking he was a little feather-fisted, but I mean, he does have a KO ratio of 81.82%, so he's winning by knockout. Now, I agree he hasn't really fought some well-known names, you know, the Carlos Adamez that we were talking about with that draw, his last outing before Berlanga. But he's got a win over Liam Williams. He's got some names. The question now is, one, who do we want to see him against? I mean, with that kind of a win, now people are automatically like, man, if he can do that to Berlanga, Canelo couldn't do that. We want to see Shiraz Canelo. Is this a fight that would interest either of you?
Yeah, definitely.
But
Look,
go ahead.
look, Canelo's not going to fight Benavidez to the point where Benavidez is in another weight class. Canelo claims he won't touch again. Why won't Canelo touch it? Because Benavidez is in that weight class. That's why Canelo won't touch that right now. But that's beating a dead horse. But in all honesty, Shiraz did what you want to see a fighter do. Whether he has a huge name right now or not, honestly, there's a lot of people in the sport that have the name that don't deserve it. There's people like Shiraz that earned it. He's earned it right now. He should be able to fight Canelo next. He's earned it.
I don't know if a win over a Berlanga makes you earn it, per se.
Right.
I mean, that's the pinnacle of the sport, Rob. You're talking about the
problem
win
is,
over
Lucas,
Berlanga. I mean, shit.
the problem is, Lucas, we're running out of names for Canelo. That's the problem. We're running out of names. So what you want to see is a guy who can make a competitive fight. And the only way to do that is to prove what he did in the ring. Do something Canelo hasn't done to get your name put up there. We're running out of names in the sport for Canelo.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about what Sakura is saying here. Shiraz is no one of his 168-pounder guys. He should be boxing 175ers and cruiserweights. He is huge. I mean, that is the case. He is rather tall. He's standing at 6'3", but the problem is, I mean, he's been fighting at 160. This is his first fight at 168. So I would think he would be okay making 168 again with no problem. Now, I'm still open to a Canelo fight, but in no way do I think he earned it. I mean, again, like you said, Rob, it's who do we want to see him against next, especially if he's unwilling to go to 175, unwilling to fight Benavidez, unwilling to fight that we want him to fight. And what's he known for? Bringing guys up in weight and beating them. So, I mean, he's
Canelo.
Yeah, he's about to do that anyway with Crawford. Now we're going to see it possibly with Shiraz later on.
You know what? Maybe, the name that comes up in my mind is David Pacheco. Pacheco? I know his last name is Pacheco. He's fighting this. I think that's a good one.
I really like Pacheco. I would like to see him get his shot. He needs a big name fight. He's earned that.
And so if we can see that, maybe an eliminator against Shiraz. And then, another opponent for Canelo. But everything is centered around Canelo. Everything goes around Canelo. That's like the epicenter of our boxing universe is Canelo. Well, if you agree with that, then maybe Pacheco versus Shiraz is a good foil for that equation. I think it works.
I see that.
Timing works.
I agree. He definitely can do more. I mean, he has other Adameas. He needs to get a rematch in the ring with him again. There was a lot of missteps that he had in that fight. The only problem is like Lucas said, that fight was down at 160. And one of the excuses there for that poor performance is that he's no longer a 160 pounder. He needed to move up in weight. So I don't know if Adamaeus is willing to step up to give him that rematch. That fight, of course, ended in a draw. So you kind of want to see if he can get past that beast or not.
Yeah.
Adamaeus being undefeated as well, you know. And then there's the other names, like you said, the guys that are out in this weight class that don't have the big win yet, don't have the big name yet. But we all got to be honest with each other. If Canelo's the name that's being put in front of you, you're going to take the Canelo fight.
It's the same as Floyd was back in the day. You're not going to say no to that kind of money, that lottery ticket. Let's go to some comments here. CJ Turkey is going to push Shiraz to the moon. Sakura
Right.
Turkey is going to give him the fight regardless. That's probably true. I mean, he's already pushing Shiraz quite a bit. So the fact that he's winning and looking as good as he did, I assume we're going to at least get the push for that fight. CJ, now we know that Canelo is going to get the decision on Crawford. That's probably going to happen with or without Turkey's help. Turkey is going to screw Crawford. That's for a different show. I really hope everybody tunes in for that one whenever that fight rolls around. But everybody's asking a lot from Crawford. All right, you got one fight against Madrimov at still even a lower weight, and he's got to jump up still to 168. Yeah, there is no fight there. I'm sorry, but it's going to end up looking like Spence Mikey Garcia. That's what this fight is end up going to look like. There's not anything bad on Crawford, but I mean he is getting older too. I mean this could be him cashing out. We don't know. I'm going to reserve that for another one because we got so much to talk about that we could go off the rails about Canelo Crawford for probably quite some bit. Let's hook back around now. Let's talk a little bit about Shiraz's hand wraps. There's been a picture going around. Looks a little fat to me, but other than that, I really didn't see much. Everybody else saying it could be tampered, it could be, some plaster of Paris or something else going on. Guys, you put anything with this conspiracy, or is it just people didn't want to see Berlanga get knocked out? That's all that.
Everybody's watching the hands get wrapped. It's almost impossible. It's almost impossible to do anything there. There's people watching. There's cameras. It's all being videotaped. And the commissioners are there while those hands are getting wrapped. He got whooped. You can make all the excuses till Sunday. You got whooped. Accept it. And enjoy your victory lap.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Lucas.
I'm done. Good. Go ahead.
There was no clear depiction of him cheating to me. It was Berlanga. It was Berlanga standing in the pocket, getting hit flush. He doesn't need to wrap his hands and put plaster in there for that or nothing like that. Berlanga got whooped. Period. So, like you said, Lucas, that's mainly Berlanga's fans crying foul, or people are so used to conspiracies in boxing now that they're trying to put one out there where it's not. I mean, he didn't show any signs of cheating to me. The hand wraps to me looked fine. James is right. Berlanga's corner is professionals. They definitely were in the locker room checking that out. I don't think there's any issues with the wraps.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't know why, but everybody just wants to jump on something and say that's it. I mean, it's not like Berlanga was like this great boxer or anything beforehand. I don't see any reason for anybody to believe that other than the fact that Canelo couldn't knock him out. So now they're screaming, "Oh, foul," because Canelo couldn't do that. Well, that's not always the case, people. That's not always the case. I mean, this dude is big, and he laid some leather on him. Sakura, yeah. CJ Hooker, when you're walking away with millions, who screwed? That's right. I mean, just like all Jake Paul's victims, right? when you walk away with, multiple digit millions of dollars, everybody's okay. Everybody wins, right? All right.
You mentioned real quickly is that, Canelo, one of the things is that he couldn't knock him out. He didn't knock him out. He could have maybe, but I don't think his intention was ever to knock him out. In the case of Canelo, if he sees that he's got his man hurt, then he's going for the knockout. Other than that, I just have a feeling that he's content with going 12 rounds and winning 11. And that to me is the sign of a fighter who is on his way out.
I saw that too. I saw that too as Canelo being maybe a little bit more hesitant, not wanting to take any risks, because Berlanga can sling it, you know what I mean? And that's really Berlanga's only chance is to land some crazy punch. That's all he has. So he stayed disciplined. That's the way I saw it. But I do agree partially with you, James, of what you're saying about could be a sign of him like, I'm on my way out. I'm not trying to get hurt in these last few fights. I'm going to get my money and get out of here as safely as I can.
That's what I see.
I see that too. I understand what you mean. CJ says no rap controversy, and this is a good segment to just kind of move on here. Let's move to Shakur Stevenson. Rob, he is ready for Tank. He showed that he can stand in the pocket and still barely get touched. Outside of the one shot in the third, there was no problem against the high-volume fighter. He's fighting for history, undisputed in 3 weight classes.
Guys,
that's what I say to that.
Let's let James and Lucas give us your take on Shakur first. Because I'm pretty sure CJ is not gonna like what I say.
Cool. Okay. First of all, I don't consider Shakur a boring fighter. I never did. Some of his fights were a little lackluster in terms of action given. But he's a smart fighter, and he's not throwing punches when he doesn't have to throw punches. When he throws punches in some of those fights that were considered boring, he was in charge. He handled Valdez, a fighter that I love, handled that perfectly. And, all of the other opponents after that. The guy's just good. He's probably one of the most efficient fighters. He's not as defensive as, let's say, Floyd Mayweather, but up there. Really, really, really talented. He punches hard. He has a really great jab. The thing with him is that he's not showy in the ring. He's just doing his job, and he's doing it really well. And I think he's doing it so well that some people get lost in what he's doing because he's not flashy. And you know what? If you don't understand it, cool. Just keep watching boxing. Someday you'll get it. But the question was Tank. But I think Tank is in the tank, right? I mean, I'm not following Tank, but
yeah, he's in jail.
He's in the Great Bar Hotel.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know, but
he's out on that.
And he handled Zepeda big time bad. He did a great job against Zepeda, and Zepeda's good, and Zepeda's got a lot to be proud of. And hats off to Zepeda. But you're dealing with Shakur, the best 135er out there.
All right, James. James, you said if you watch Shakur and you think less of him in fights, that he's lackluster, everything, then keep watching because you just don't get it. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it.
Just watch him.
I don't get it. I've studied the man, okay? I've studied the man. He's everything that's wrong in the sport today. And here's why, okay? Because he has all the talent. He has all the tools to be a great fighter, and he picks and chooses when he shows it. He picks and chooses when he shows it.
But
is he afraid to get hurt? I think so. Yes, he fought a high-volume puncher, and that helped him have a great showing on Saturday night. I'm not going to take it away, CJ. He had a great showing on Saturday night. He had a great showing against a lesser of opponent than he is. And he showed us what he should have been doing from the beginning. It took Turks to get on his ass to tell him, I'm sick of the boring fights. I'm sick of the lackluster performances. Go out and show me what you're made of, or you're not getting any of this money anymore. It took that for him to show up in the ring on Saturday. And you know what? I think he'll still be wishy-washy in the ring to us. Why? Because he put together a performance we're talking about on Saturday. His next one, he might not be so lucky. He might not be so lucky.
I bet
Okay.
There's no one that can beat him at 135. And if Tank comes out of the tank, well, then maybe we got a good fight. But I still think that Shakur does it.
Well, I need to see him against other fighters at 135 that I don't think he can beat besides Tank. And I've always said this. I have a real issue with the Tank situation right now because of the outside the ring stuff. Okay? Let's see Shakur versus Lamont Roach. Let's see Shakur versus Lamont Roach Jr. Can he handle him, CJ? Can he handle Lamont Roach? Because Lamont Roach ain't playing in the ring. He showed you that. He showed you he's not playing in the ring. Shakur, guys like Shakur, I hate to say it right now because of the issues that he's bringing outside the ring. Guys like Shakur Stevenson and Gervonta Tank Davis are the reason why boxing is in a recession right now. I made a bold statement right there, and I'm saying it again. That's why boxing is in a recession. Okay? Because these guys don't want to show up night in and night out. They don't want to give the effort. They just want to make a name for themselves. That's it. They just want to make a name for themselves. So is Shakur ready for a Tank? Is he ready for it? Let's see. Let's see. Fight Lamont Roach Jr. He's ready. Fight the other guys at 135 that are ready right now.
There's quite a few.
Show me something other than beating a Cepeda who's already been beaten before.
Yeah, but Zepeda's one of the powerful fighters at 135. He's definitely one of the top contenders there. He's in the top 5. But, I mean, there's also Abdullah Mason, Lamont Roach, Schofield, Sam Noakes. I mean, that's a really, really good list of fighters there. And did I mention Keyshawn?
Yeah.
I mean, it looks really, really – 135 is looking great.
And I need to see Shakur step up in competition against more guys like that. But I need him to show me what he did on Saturday against those level of opponents. So to answer your question, CJ, yes, I'm not taking it away from him on Saturday. He looked great Saturday, but I'm not sold on this kid yet.
Kura says changing your style of boxing when it's not you isn't the correct answer either. He was pissed that he had to stand and take risks to make that fight entertaining. He has to be a different way for Shakur to be showy, but still not get hit as much because we know he doesn't have to get hit at all if he doesn't want to be. CJ says he is talking about going up to 147 to fight Conor Ben. Yeah, I don't know about all that. Let's slow down. Make your jumps a little slower there. Taking that Crawford way is a little bit too much. Biting off more than you can chew at once. Look, Shakur is a great fighter, but I agree with you both. I mean, it feels like he does need to change something to be more entertaining. And, when your promoter is saying that too, it's a bad thing. And there's a lot of great fighters that just don't translate to TV well. Rigondeaux comes to mind, excellent fighter, but man, he'll put some people to sleep if you are not a boxing purist. But other than that, if you can watch it and be like, God damn, he's good. The guys that really get into it, but at the same point, you want to see him against somebody that can beat him. And right now, if it's not a big name, I'm sorry, but Shakur, I am not interested. And if not who we are talking about, Shakur, I don't want to watch it. So don't send me up no other party. We need a big name, a big fighter that's also up there. We need a Tank. We need a Keyshawn Davis. We need a Lamont Roach. That's all. Anything else, I'm not paying for it. I don't want to watch it. I don't care how good you are. I want to see you tested. And really, I mean, have we seen him tested? Have we seen him in a tough fight? It doesn't really feel like it.
We haven't. And CJ, that's the answer. That's the answer to the question there, or I should say, yeah, that's the problem. Lucas is absolutely right. We need to see you fight those level fighters at that level and fight at that level of competition. But can he do it? That's the big question. And from what I've seen so far, no, I don't think he can.
I don't know.
And James, you're high on Shakur right now too.
Yeah,
I don't think he can.
I honestly would pick him over Tank right now. If the fight was already booked, I'm picking Shakur over Tank.
I honestly don't care. I mean, I just want to see the fights. I want to see him fight his buddy Keyshawn and, all the other guys I mentioned.
And
I just want to see these fights. I want to see Tank first because I don't know what's going to happen with that guy's career because it seems to be like in turmoil. But if we can get him back in the ring or gym at least, and it would be fantastic. I mean, that's a key matchup, and we should be able to see it. There's just so much things going on with Tank's life that he's I think he's before the magistrate pretty soon.
Yeah, we don't know when he'll fight or if he'll be able to fight.
Well, yeah, there's that thing because this is like a repeat offense, and it's kind of serious. And so the idea is that he moves on to, Keyshawn or some of the other cats and the big cats in the, 135er. And they should make it. It should make it. It should happen. So Turkey, I know you're watching. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and Shakur, you're right. Roach is ready. Roach is ready for Shakur. Let's see that fight. And you know what, CJ? Right now, I'm picking Roach.
I mean, I don't know who I would pick in that fight. I think that one's a little bit harder for me to pick just because it's boxer versus boxer. Whereas I think Shakur wins the fight over the styles when it comes to Tank. That's just the way I see it, Rob. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong before, but I would like to see that fight. Hopefully we do, but we need to move on here. We've kind of been beating a dead horse for a little bit. Great women's fight here this past weekend. Let's talk. Taylor defeats Serrano for a third time, technically.
Oh.
Now, guys, I didn't see it that way. That's what I want to talk about. How did you guys see the trilogy? I had it Serrano, then Taylor. This third fight, I do think Taylor won.
Well,
but,
you called it a great fight, or I think it was a great matchup. It wasn't a great fight.
That's true.
I mean,
the last two were great fights. This one was kind of a little bit of a letdown.
Best ever. The idea is that they were both really not in the business of mixing it up. They kept it clean. They kept it boxing. They kept it, on the outside. And we got a winner. She's 3-0, and congratulations to her. But quite honestly, I'll be perfectly honest with you here. I was really disappointed in this.
A little bit.
In a fight.
Nah, James, nah.
Drawn out.
I love these chess matches. It was a chess match to me.
Yeah. It lacked action, man. It lacked, connection. And that's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
It was
conviction. They weren't really throwing to hurt one another.
Yeah.
It was, you sold us on the first two fights. And then on the third one, we don't want a chess match, man. I seen the first two fights. That's what I'm paying for. I want to see a copy of the first two fights, or at least a version of it. I don't want to see where they just don't try to hurt each other.
Look at that.
I
Jump off the top buckle and land on her, and something. I mean, just absolutely nuts, but nothing like that. Nothing like that.
I wholeheartedly disagree with you too. especially in the fact that there have been fights that were great chess matches like these that you guys loved that I hated, that I felt were lull in action. We should have saw more action. When these two had this much respect for each other in the sport, they wanted to make it more tactical. They wanted to make it a cleaner fight. Now, with that being said, going to the fight and judging what happened in terms of the action and everything, anytime, and I hate to say this because to me, there's no controversy in this at all. It is what it is, especially because of the styles. But I felt like every time Serrano did push the action and push her on the back foot towards the corner, she was getting hit with some smaller headbutts, and she didn't want that, so she pulled back. And to me, that was the big difference in this fight than the other two was when Serrano was trying to push the action, because Taylor was fighting off the back foot quite a bit, but she's known for that, so that's okay. But there were times when she was in the corner that she was absolutely cornered, and then the head came into play, and Serrano was so adamant about not getting caught into that type of fight, she just pulled back.
Yeah. Well, there's one thing that she never let it all out. And you got to let it all hang out in some of these matchups. And I think that she takes home a bunch of regret. And that's the hard part. Game plan.
I don't think she had anything to regret in this one. I don't.
Well,
I think she does because she came close in the first, came close in the second. Definitely a good game plan, an effective game plan, one that almost won her the fight. I think on some of those judges' scorecards in the first two fights, she may have been up. And I don't recall. But I do want to say that if she would have kept up that kind of pressure, she may have gotten to Taylor in this fight, because she certainly did in the first and second. So I don't see any reason to back out of that game plan. I think what lost her the fight, like I keep saying, is that in the corner you win and lose. And I don't think that they had the right game plan. And
no,
it cost them an undisputed championship and one of three, which is not bad, but it's the closing fight. And it's a done deal now, and they just got to live with it.
well, and boxing's always like, what have you done for me lately? And history is easily corrupted by BoxRec, because that's all these kids are going to have to look back on and then look at these fights. They're going to be like, well, Taylor beat her 3 times. And I mean, that does not tell the story of really how these fights went. I mean, I really honestly did see Serrano winning the first 2, and the third one I did see Taylor walking away with, kind of like a lot like the Golovkin-Canelo fights. They were close, don't get me wrong. But I definitely agree with Rob when he says that Serrano fought like she didn't want to get cut again, and Taylor fought like, if I cause a cut again, I have to give Serrano my entire purse. That's kind of what it felt like. It felt like nobody wanted to cause the action. Nobody wanted to cause any kind of bad publicity or any head bumps or any movements. So I really hope this is not Serrano's last fight, because I don't want to see her go out in this whimper of 3 losses straight to Katie Taylor. She's better than that.
I don't think it will be, but I will say this, not to harp on these 2 girls. 3, to my opinion, 3 great legendary fights, 2 legendary Hall of Fame fighters. But the way that they fought in this last fight, they really did fight like they had 12 3-minute rounds. And I really would like to see, if you're going to have a technical bout like this, I would like to see the extra time awarded to these ladies to have a classic chess style match with proper 12 3-minute rounds.
Yeah, it would be nice. I don't know if we're going to see that very much. It sounds like Serrano's the only one that really wants that. And we didn't get it in these fights, which was very disheartening because she was such pushing for those 3 minutes that we didn't get it in these big fights.
It was never going to happen, though. I mean, I don't see that changing anytime soon. It's 10-2s, and that's what you get. But in the end, I think it was a pretty decent trilogy. I gotta say. And thanks to Jake Paul for putting this together.
Yeah, Shakur said it. That fight card overall, guys, that was a very, very intense fight card, in my opinion. Those girls in the bouts prior to Serrano and Taylor, which we knew was going to be the showstopper, but those girls all fought their asses off. They fought better than they fought way better than Ryan Garcia did. They fought way better than Devin Haney did. They fought way better than Teofimo Lopez did.
Definitely made for good TV. Me and my wife were watching them, and she was getting into it. So it's good to be able to share that with my wife because usually it's boxing. Oh, she's on her phone. But go down here. So now CJ wants to see Katie Taylor versus Alicia Baumgartner. Of course, that's going to be a great fight on paper. I definitely do want to see that as well. And Sakura, it looks like she agrees as well. Love to see that fight. That is another big fight in the making. Will that do the numbers like Serrano, though?
Alicia's tough, though.
She's
tough. She's gritty in there. I really like her output. I really like her output. And that style, both of their styles mesh really well together. You know what I'm saying? So I think that would be, as James said, what he expected in this fight. That one should be an action-packed fight, James.
And you broke up a little bit there. You were talking about Baumgartner and
yeah, I said that fight should be action-packed like you like it.
Baumgartner, Serrano, is that what you're talking about? So
Katie Taylor.
Yeah.
I think Katie Taylor's done, man.
Think so?
Yeah, I think she's fought her last.
I was thinking more Serrano done than Taylor.
I was thinking the opposite. I think Serrano continues, and I think Katie Taylor sails off. She's had enough, and if she continues fighting, great. I'll be the first one to buy a ticket. Well, I'm not going to buy a ticket. I'll watch it for free, but no, it's just one of those things. But if you're looking at a matchup between Taylor and Baumgartner, is it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh shit, that's for that's for real.
Yeah.
That would be a really, really great match because Baumgartner is high punch output, and she's very accurate, and she is my girlfriend, so you know. And so it's one of those things. That would be a fantastic matchup.
Definitely agree with you there. That's one that we want to see next. Now, why do you think? Well, I mean, is it just the age? Is that why you think Katie Taylor's done?
It's just her posture. Like, for example, like during those walkouts when she, turned around and waved to the fans, that was kind of telling me I'm done. This is it. Her responses, in her interview were kind of like, it's been good. It's been great. Not like, we're looking for the next fight. We're not holding back. We're looking for the next champ. We're looking for the next challenge. It wasn't like that. And so you get that feeling that, they're kind of done. And if she is great, if she's not, again, I'll be the first one to watch.
Alicia's outfits were all fly. I got to agree with you there, Sakura. They all look good. All right, let's move on to this. Usyk taking on Dubois. This time, a little bit more of a heavy favorite going into this fight is Usyk. Let's talk a little bit about how we see this fight going. Myself, I think it's going to be even worse for Dubois in this fight. I think a lot of people are reading way too much into that one body shot / low blow that landed and dropped Usyk. It was low. Maybe it wasn't, blatantly way low. It was borderline. I don't think it was a nut shot or anything, but I did look low. And I think people are reading into this saying, oh, Dubois is just going to go to the body. He's going to hurt him. He's going to stomp him. I don't think so. I mean, Usyk's one of those guys that is able to adapt more than any other, more disciplined than basically anybody else at the heavyweight division. I don't see Dubois able to make the changes that he needs to make to win this fight. I really don't. I'm wholeheartedly behind Usyk in this one. Not even really too worried about this fight for Usyk. I think he's going to win this pretty easily.
I don't know about that. I think it's going to be a match for a good 6 or 8 rounds. Dubois is bouncing back, and I think he's a serious threat here. Kind of the same question with Usyk as it is with Katie Taylor, though. Are they in it long haul? They're not. They're definitely not long haul. I think that Usyk is looking to sail off here. And I hope that hasn't really changed his training. I hope he's just, attacking it with the same intensity that he always has. It's a tough fight for Usyk. There's no way around it. This is a tough fight, and he's going to have to give it all he's got. For 6 or 8 rounds, it's going to be like really, really intense. And so in the end, I think Usyk with his good conditioning pulls it out. I think the key for Usyk is body work. He does it so well. I think that's what's going to lead him to victory here. I love Daniel Dubois. Dubois is a great fighter. He came close in the last one, and I took a look at that one low blow or potentially a low blow, and today I ruled it a low blow. In the past, I thought it was kind of okay, but it's a tough call, man. Nobody can make that call that quickly. You just can't do it. It's really, really, really difficult. So that addresses that blow. But I expect a good match tomorrow. Hopefully, it goes the distance and Usyk is victorious.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't see the first fight all that close myself, but Rob, how you see this going? How you see it?
Dubois has been on a tear.
Yeah,
I think he actually did adjust after that loss to Usyk. Usyk did run away with it, especially after the low blow. But Usyk was down. If that wasn't a low blow, he would have been counted out. He was hurt. He was hurt in that situation. And what helped him was the time, right? You get time because it's a low blow, everything. He was able to recover and go on to win. After that, Dubois has been on a tear, and he's just absolutely been fighting like a madman. He has something to prove. I absolutely agree with James that this one should be a barn burner for the first at least 6 rounds, right?
I mean, what's a tear though? We're talking about Big Baby Miller. We're talking about AJ. That's not a tear. Come on, man. Like,
Lucas, there isn't that many in the heavyweight division.
With all due respect, Rob. Okay,
there isn't that many in the heavyweight division. Okay,
you call what's his nickname again? AJ. What do you call him?
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Listen, that win to me doesn't mean nothing. Okay, you got 3 rounds in. You got an early knockout. Maybe you caught him cold. I don't know, but that don't mean shit to me. I'm sorry, but it don't.
You're discounting the AJ. You're discounting the AJ victory because Dubois made him look like dog shit. Give credit where credit is due.
Looks like dog shit.
give credit. The man was on the pinnacle. Has been on the pinnacle of his career. At the top in the heavyweight division. Don't take that away from him, from AJ. Okay. Now, let me finish. Dubois, this should be a very tough matchup for the first 6 rounds. So I agree with you, James. I'm just gonna flat out say it. Dubois knocks him out. KO Dubois. He knocks Usyk out.
All right,
Usyk needs a chin check. He needs to check himself into reality. He's on top of the world right now, as he should. This right here is reality check. Dubois, don't make me look bad, man. Knock this sucker out.
Oh man.
I don't see it happening. Nobody has knocked down Usyk
Well, Dubois did. It was just a low blow.
legally, anyway.
This time,
Knocked down.
this time he gets it.
The first fight wasn't close, guys. I don't understand where you're coming from, where you believe that he can knock him out. Knocking out an AJ does not come close to saying that you're going to knock out a Usyk, okay? I don't even know if Usyk's really been stunned. Maybe Fury. Fury might have caught him, you know?
He did.
He did catch him. Usyk admitted he caught him.
But other than that, name a time. Name a time where you've seen Usyk even in trouble. He has been outboxing mostly. And even that AJ, the split decision, I'm like, I don't even know how you came to a split decision. The judging was terrible in that fight. That should have been a unanimous decision. That should have been 3 or 4 rounds. Like, what are we even talking about, guys? Usyk is the pinnacle. And we're talking about Dubois coming off, which that fight even, what was that, 6 rounds? 6 points? I mean, there was a big gap before even the stoppage, which Usyk did. Stop him. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
You'll see Saturday night. I can't wait for this. Ooh, I can't wait for this.
Am I crazy thinking that the AJ win is just riding too high with some of these people? They think that all of a sudden now we're going to get this other version of Dubois that doesn't even exist, and that he's just going to go on this tear and defeat Usyk now. I don't.
Reality, baby. Reality.
I'm being 100% honest. I don't even know why we had a rematch. I have no desire to see this fight. I mean, there's nothing that says to me like, oh, well, Dubois earned it. Or the only thing that happened is he knocked out AJ, and now everybody's screaming, oh, he's the top. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me.
Well, he did beat Ergovic, and that's a
little bit better than the AJ. You know.
But attendant to something you said earlier, that whether Usyk had been hurt. In an interview that I saw with Usyk, he said that during his fight with Fury, he got hit with an uppercut and was holding on for dear life, but never let Fury know that. Because if he did, it would have been over. And so he held his ground. This is after an uppercut. And I remember seeing that punch landed, and I'm like, oh, my Lord. But Usyk took it and kept dishing it out. And if you couldn't take out Usyk with a punch like that, you're not going to take him out. And so Usyk by stoppage this week.
Yeah, Dubois is no Fury. And I mean, if Fury can barely hurt him, I'm sorry, but Dubois is getting stopped again. I only say sooner. We're looking at 6 rounds, maybe.
I'm not arguing with you.
That's just what I see, Rob. I'm sorry, but
we'll see. We'll see come Saturday.
You made me eat crow a couple of times. You know, it can happen. It can happen again. Let's go on now. We got so much to talk about. Man, Usyk Cruz coming back, facing Fierro. Guys, Usyk Cruz very well could be another one in the mix-up for Shakur Stevenson for a tank fight. I'd love to see that rematch that we will never get. What do you think about this?
Cruz versus Shakur is an ass whooping in the making.
Probably. The style probably is bad for Cruz. But
look, William Zepeda is a pretty educated fighter. He brings it, and he brings it nicely. Cruz doesn't have any of those sensibilities. So that would be a Cruz walking into a cinder block wall. That is not a good matchup for Cruz. Shakur. It is just not a good matchup. But he's fighting a guy that gave him a whooping in the past, so let's see how he does.
Yeah,
Obviously not so high on Cruz.
Yeah, I remember you not being too high on him.
It's stylish. It's a style thing. I don't care for that mauler.
It's a brawler, yeah. I gotta admit, I like brawlers. I like boxers. I like a little bit of everything, but I like it the straightforward style. It makes for good entertainment,
It does.
But this fight, I mean, Usyk couldn't get Fierro out of there last time, but overall, I mean, I was happy with it being over with that. We got in another rematch here that I don't really fully all the way get, but I'm all for seeing Usyk Cruz. He adds entertainment to a card, and I think he's doing that much more with this Pacquiao Barrios card. You never know how it could turn out. So adding a entertaining guy like Usyk Cruz is always fun.
Well, 135 and 140 is pretty stuffed. So, hopefully he'll get an opponent after this that, someone's going to dish out an ass whooping. That's all we need, Cruz. That's all we need.
That is all we need from Usyk Cruz. So hopefully you can deliver. And then, of course, we have an even better fight. And, of course, I'm talking about Sebastian Fundora versus Tszyu, the rematch from the bloody original. I've said this since that fight. I don't really think the blood played much into it as everybody wants to think it did. I honestly think that Fundora wins this one again. It's a style thing. It's a height thing. It's a little bit of everything. But I think when it came down to those later rounds, it was also not just the blood, but it was a lot of endurance too. And Tim was gassing hard. I like Fundora in this fight. I don't think anybody gets stopped. And if anybody does, it's going to be Fundora getting stopped. I thoroughly see Fundora kind of, edging this one out in a very close back and forth fight, but a couple round unanimous decision, maybe 116, 112, somewhere around there in favor of Sebastian Fundora. Now,
I got to disagree with you on that one.
Okay, go, take it.
Honestly, Tszyu took a really, really bad cut in that first fight. We all know that. It was a bloody battle.
Mm-hmm.
Bloodiest I've ever seen. I've seen a lot of fights. There was a lot
of blood.
I mean, there was a lot of bloodshed there. But I think if that cut had never developed over Tszyu's head, and well, let me put it this way: he had a bad cut and fought valiantly, and nothing but respect, mad respect for Tszyu and his team that kept it together and kept it going. That was a team effort. Man, that was a team effort. He came out round after round after round with the nastiest cut ever above his forehead. So it's raining down on both eyes. That's bad. I mean, you're looking for the jab, you're looking for the body work, and your both eyes are just really, really compromised. And he was able to, work his way through this. So that says a lot for Tszyu. Without that, he caused a lot of damage to Fundora. I think he didn't break his nose, according to Fundora, but there was a lot of blood coming from there as well. So in the end, I think Tszyu takes this one. Not Brian Mendoza style where he, knocks him out, but I think it'll go the distance. Unless he can score one of those blows, one of those cross hooks, and if he gets him with a 2-3, maybe.
Never know.
Possibility. But I'm really looking forward to this fight. And Fundora's a good dude. And his sister's a good girl, and it's a great fighting family. So shout out to Fundora's. We love you, and we're looking for a good match. This is going to be fun.
It is. It could end up stealing the show. Rob, what do you think about the rematch here?
I really like this fight. Both of them have something to prove. Tszyu is still really trying to get that respect back that he lost from the Fundora fight. He's still trying to get that back. Not only is he trying to get that back, but he's trying to get back to that level. Personally, the cut did bother Tim in the first fight, but that to me wasn't the main ingredient. That wasn't the main issue from the first fight. I think the main issue was is every single fighter that Tszyu had fought up to that point couldn't take the pressure or the punches. Fundora could. Fundora could, and that's what made that first bout really a great bout. With them both having something to prove and wanting to get the respect, because Fundora still didn't really earn it fully because of the cut. So I believe that this one will also go back and forth. The first one was a lot of back and forth action. This one, we may not see as much action because both fighters might try to be careful in this one. So there isn't a cut, there isn't, an issue there. But I see this one going back and forth. But I see Fundora winning. I like Fundora. I
Me
like
too.
his trajectory right now. And I think he just edges this one out. I think he has Zoo's number. And it's unfortunate that the cut did happen and it kind of slowed Zoo down in the first one. But again, I think Fundora handled the pressure, he handled the punches, and he did what he had to do to win that first bout. And I think he does the same in this.
I do. I think Tim thinks that as well. I think Tim thinks that because why not jump back to that fight? Why not go and try to avenge that? You went on. You tried to move on and you lost. You fought two other fights, one of which you said I'm not ready, and then you turn around and fight somebody else. You don't do that. You don't do that. You would want to go back and get your belt. If you said, "Oh, you only won because I'm cut," you would go back and get that damn belt. You would say, you're coming back to me," and make that fight happen. Instead, you didn't do that. You said, "Oh no, I can't fight you," and then like 2 or 3 weeks later, you fought somebody else. Make that make sense, Tim. I don't get it. Is for me, it says I'm not ready for the fight against Fundora. I'm not ready for that type of fight. Whether it be, the style matchup isn't suiting for Tim. And then Tim went on to lose anyway, like right after that. So I think there's a lot of lacking confidence there, especially after these couple of losses that he's taken. And yeah, he did get that last win against, I forgot that other guy's name, but in between then and there just recently. But I don't know. I'm with you, Rob. I think there's even Tim believes Fundora's got my number. Maybe it's something he's got to prove to himself this weekend. I don't know. I'm looking forward to this fight. I think just as much, if not more, than anything else for this weekend.
But there's another issue here, and I'll make it really quick. We talk about fighter safety a lot. One of them had a nasty gash over his head. The other guy was spitting blood from his nose and his mouth. I mean, it was bad. What about fighter safety? Why not say, you know what? This fight's over. It's neutrally dead. They're both injured. They're both bleeding. They both need medical attention. Let's get them out of here.
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but you went on and just fought somebody else.
In boxing, we can't do that.
You can. Sure.
NFL, I mean, these guys break a fingernail and they're on concussion protocol. And in boxing, we can't do that with two fighters who are bleeding. I said that wrong. Bleeding profusely.
I wholeheartedly agree with what you're saying.
Why don't we have the education to stop a fight and say, you guys are in bad shape. Let's call the fight a draw and get them out.
Well, at that point, wouldn't it go to the scorecards though?
Well, maybe it would.
Boxing rules. If you stop that bloody fight, you say, "Hey, let's go to the scorecards here." I don't know.
Giant.
I kind of.
Was it Marcus Brown or
Badu Jack? Badu Jack. That was terrible.
And shout out to Badu Jack. I know you're watching. At some point, doesn't it make sense to stop the fight and get him to
I,
medical?
I
Yeah.
like what James is saying. I don't like going to the scorecards in that regard because I think what James is saying is right. Both fighters are hurt. Both fighters are bleeding. Both fighters, we want to stop the fight for both fighters' safety. Let's just end this at some point. Now, at some point, I don't want it to end prematurely. I want to see the action and I want to see if they can uphold it. But at some point, when you look at both guys and say this is too much for both of them to take any more punishment, let's just end this at a draw and then let them get healthy and fight again. In UFC, after bouts like this, guys get suspended and basically put on leave because of they want to give them ample time to heal. And in boxing, we don't protect them that way. We let them go back into training camp. They got another fight, like Lucas said, weeks, months after this one. So I agree with what James is saying there, especially when you put in the type of energy and effort that they both put in. Just call it even. They're both hurt. Let's get them healthy and run it back.
But the problem is that this shit sells. Blood sells. We know that blood sells.
But we saw blood. You know what I'm saying, James? We saw that. We should be satisfied. We don't need to see more blood.
Yeah, but some people need to learn the lesson, and it's boxing commissioners and promoters and some of these ring doctors who are sitting on their hands because they're paid to sit on their hands. But when you have two boxers who are bleeding as bad as they are in this fight, boxing stops becoming a sport, and that's my concern. That's my concern.
I mean, that's fair.
That's where I speak out. You can't let this be entertainment. It's a sport. When two boxers are bleeding as profusely as these guys were, it's time to take a different step and say, it's time to stop this. Same with Battle Jack, but it didn't. And that was Tony Weeks, one of the best referees out there, retired now, but it sells. It sells, and that's one of the issues. No one wants to disrupt that. But when we don't disrupt that, we disrupt the entirety of the sport. And that is effed up.
There's something to say also, though, about the fighter mentality and the fighters wanting to continue that fight as well. We often forget that this is not just, hey, they show up and fight. You've been preparing and working your ass off. And now because of an accidental cut, you're telling me I have to do all of that shit, all that hard work, all that running for months, all that shit all over again just because of this cut. Fuck that. I want to fight. And sometimes that's a fighter's mentality. And sometimes that should be their choice. If they went through that and they want to continue, who the hell am I to tell them no? I understand we have to make it somewhat legitimate and somewhat safe for them. The doctors are supposed to be the ones that do that. Now, do they? Me and you are probably going to both say no. They don't keep these fighters safe, not as safe as they should. And I agree with what Sakura is saying. I mean, it's the corner really that lost it for Tim because, again, I believe she's right here. If it stopped after the fourth, then it becomes official and you got to go to the scorecards. Before that, it turns into what? A no contest.
Right.
And maybe you should have stopped there. But I think it was more than just the fans wanting to continue. I think it was the fighters that also wanted that fight to continue. Now, if both fighters agree and they say, hey, it needs to stop, then that's what needs to happen. But these guys, the way that fight went down, I mean, it was an epic, brutal fight. Now, that fight's going to be remembered a lot longer than would it be a no contest. You have to take with what's important to you and run with it. Do you want to, maybe have a fight that lives forever, or do you want to have something that, well, it's a no contest, we both lose, we both didn't get that kind of money we wanted, and now It's over. Now we got to wait another 6 months to do it all over again. My whole point is like you can't say that you're not ready for that fight and then turn around and fight another fighter and then lose to them. Like, if you wanted to do it and you're ready to come back, you should be coming back and fighting that guy that you're so adamant that you were not ready to fight not that long ago. Don't make an excuse and then turn around and just fight somebody else. Don't do that. If Tim's not ready, he should have not taken any fights and waited for Fundora. That's the way I see that.
Now, and just to set the record straight, because there's been talk about accidental or not, but it was not a headbutt. It was an elbow.
It was.
Remember, it was the elbow.
Yeah, no, he leaned in. Yeah, leaned into that elbow. He's coming up. I mean, it's an awkward style, and it opened him right up.
That was as bad as it gets, though, because it goes into both eyes.
The Badu Jack, that was a headbutt, though, right?
Yeah, against Marcus Brown, I think it was. Yeah, intentional or not.
He's confused, but
as bad as it could be. But why continue? Why continue?
Especially with that one. Like, that one was wide open.
What's the worst that can happen if the fight is stopped and it gets rescheduled? What's the worst that can happen? We've seen
all that training again.
It just doesn't make sense to continue. If we want competition. And
I agree with you. But a fighter who just went through 6 months or at least 6 weeks of hell may say otherwise, James. They may tell you, hey, I don't want to do that again.
Lucas, it's not the last fight of your career unless you say this is the last fight that I'm fighting, okay? Let's just fucking continue. Let's go. But if these got careers ahead of them, and we got to take care of those careers as a community.
Hey, I'm telling my corner, you are not getting paid for 2 of these, okay? I'm only paying you for 1.
No, come on. It's serious, man. It's these guys need to have their careers safeguarded, and when no one is willing to step up to the apron and say stop the fight, if I'm there personally, I would. I'm not, but it's one of those things where none of this shit makes any sense to me. When they don't stop the fight, when one guy is bleeding. Let me ask you this. What if Tszyu drops dead? What do you do then? What do you do?
What they always do, James.
He's fighting Fundora and just fucking drops. What do you do?
Mark that up as one of the 12 that die every year, unfortunately. This is a problem with boxing that I've said before, and I've said it again.
God bless Tszyu, and God protect him and everything, but what happens if something like that goes on?
There's a ref. There's supposed to be a doctor. They should at least stop, evaluate. I don't know. I'm not one of those doctors. I don't know how bad those were. Those could have been superficial cuts.
They were evaluating him in the corner.
Maybe it wasn't enough to stop it.
They say he can continue. Yeah, he can continue. Sure he can. But does it make sense is the question. Does this shit make sense? It makes no sense whatsoever.
There comes a thing, though, where just like bare knuckles, like Sakura was saying earlier with the bare knuckles, they want to see blood. Sometimes blood doesn't necessarily mean severe hurt. You know what I mean? Most people die from boxing. They don't even have a cut on them. They're hurt from internal injuries, usually brain trauma. The cuts are mostly superficial. You bleed a lot. It'll cause you to not be able to see good and not be able to defend as good. I agree, which will cause you to eat more punches. But overall, I think the blood is mainly show. I mean, you get cuts all the time. And you look at WWE fighters used to cut themselves from fucking all the forehead, just blood all over the place. They continue to perform. So if they can do it, boxing should be able to do it as well. Now, Badu Jack, I think, was a little bit extreme. That thing was like the opposite of a Klingon from Star Wars or Star Trek. That thing was just an open vagina on his forehead. I don't know what that was.
I was thinking the same thing.
But it was enormous, James. And I think that much meat showing, you should probably stop the fight, period.
Why not? Why not stop it?
Yeah, that there's some, other things that I always look at like, that one probably should be stopped. But and I know they're getting evaluated, but at the same point, I do think it's the doctors more than anything usually let it go on unless they get some kind of awkward ass response from the fighter, and then they're like, "What? Oh no, the fight's over." So unless you get some kind of weird verbal response, they don't seem to really do anything. They rub it. Oh, you're good to go. It's about as far as it goes.
Yeah, and
the fighter's never going to say I've had enough. I'm bleeding. Well, I'm sure it's happened, but
yeah,
they're always going to be pushing for more. We know that.
And after this, we can get back on topic, Lucas, but I had to bring this up because it's in my memory bank now. I don't know if you remember, but one of those first fights that me and you ever went to for at the casino, Demure Ortiz, we were at ringside for with one of his boxing events. We were at ringside for. I'm sitting next to Lucas, and Demure Ortiz just nails this kid in the face. Blood comes out of his mouth and lands right on my lip at ringside. You remember that? So no, I'm not always a huge fan of the blood, especially when you're sitting at ringside.
That's right. I took Jay with me once too, and a bloody mouthpiece landed right in front of us, right on the table. That is part of the sport. And I after honestly the first couple that we went to, Rob, you start to learn. I'm not going to wear my best shirt today. It might get blood all over it. I'm gonna wear something different.
Just bringing up.
But James, while I agree with you that we need to make it as safe as possible, I also disagree. How can we make a sport about punching each other in the fucking face very safe in the first place?
It's a blood sport.
If you make it safe, then you're taking away from the sport of what it is. It is violent. It is war. It is battle. That's just what it is. You have to continue. And I think the blood, there should be limits, obviously, but what that limit is definitely not up to me. I have no idea. I think the doctors need to be better and a little bit more cautious, sure.
Yeah.
But I do think if we take too much away, then it just stops being boxing.
There's been times where they're a little too cautious and it fucks everything up.
Agree with you there, too.
But to answer your question, when there's obvious injury, very obvious injury, like Fundora, like Tszyu, like Barrios, like a lot of guys, then it's time to draw back a little bit and let time heal and heal those wounds and then get back into it. I don't care if they start from the fourth round moving forward or whatever it is. Whatever it is fine. But when their ability to fight is compromised, then the sport's compromised because it stops becoming a sport. That's where we need to be careful.
Yeah.
So speaking of all of that, y'all, should there be a limit on Manny Pacquiao coming back to the sport at, what is he now, 50? What is he, y'all?
Good transition.
Right.
46 years of age. That's pretty old. Now I'm 41. Right. Yeah, I'm 41.
You so old you can't remember your age.
Yeah, I was making sure. I know I'm coming up on 42, but I was like, am I 42 already? I stopped counting these things because it just gets depressing. But listen, at 42, I got degenerative disc disease. I got arthritis. I got a bunch of other stuff. Now, I'm not as active as a Manny Pacquiao, so I'm sure he's in better shape than me. However, if I got all that, I guarantee you this man also has some old man problems. That's just how it is. Do I think that he's a little bit in over his head against Barrios? Very, very possible. Very possible. He's not a bad, you can see it on the bottom here. it's not as bad an underdog as what I thought it was going to be. I was assuming Pacquiao is going to be 4-1 odds. It is not quite that bad. As you're looking there, Manny Pacquiao is an underdog plus 210. So they see this as at least somewhat close of a fight, but Barrios is definitely a clear favorite. Do we think he came back specifically for Barrios? And even if he wins by some drastic 46-year-old comeback, that he's going to continue in the sport, or is this a one and done? Is he trying to grab a belt and go out by saying, I am the only Hall of Famer to come back to the sport, win a title, and now I'm going to be gone again?
No, I look at this as like what we see Jake Paul doing and all these other cats. Exhibition. It's not exhibition. This is a fucking fight, but it's pseudo exhibition. Not only that, I mean, these guys are looking at a stare down, which is a big part of this whole arrangement that we have, pre-fight. And they're, smiling and laughing and carrying on. This tells me that this is not a very serious encounter for Mario Barrios. That really, really changed the way I look at this. When they're looking at each other and smiling and not really, at each other. And I'm not big on stare downs. I'm just not. I'm not. I just don't care for these things. It just told me that they're out there to make a little bit of money. And so this might go 8 rounds or 10 rounds or whatever it does, and we get a decision. But I don't see this as a very contentious fight. I wish it was, but I don't see it that way. Your thoughts?
So I have a bunch. Okay. Starting out to answer what Lucas's question is this one and done? What's the goal here? I think that depends on how he does Saturday night. I think it depends on how Manny feels after the fight, win or lose. Because sometimes you get in the ring and you bite off more than you can chew, and you still win the fight. But after going through all that you went through at the end of the bout, you say to yourself, do I really want to still do this at this age? So I think it's going to depend on really how Manny feels after the fight Saturday night, whether or not, he wants to continue. And obviously, the obvious answer also is he going to win or is he going to get embarrassed, knocked out? The outcome of the fight weighs into that, but that's the obvious answer. My thoughts in particular on this bout, though, in looking at it, I want to look at it and take the age out of it. That's how I want to look and judge this fight, is take the age out of it. Because they both have two very common opponents and two different outcomes. And I'm talking about when you look at Manny Pacquiao versus Keith Thurman and what happened in that fight, then you turn to Mario Barrios and how he got schooled and outclassed by Keith Thurman. Then you go and look at Ugas and you see how Manny completely got destroyed by Ugas. But then you turn around and Mario Barrios wiped the floor with Ugas. So if you take the age out of it and you look at those common opponents, that to me says that just with the odds have it, it's a closer fight on paper than you think.
I think the only reason he's a favorite, period, is because of the age. If Pacquiao was younger, this wouldn't even be a close fight.
Well, and that's another thought. You can't. The problem here with the fans Saturday night is you can't tell them nothing, right? You can't tell them about the age. You can't. They still think Manny Pacquiao wins. They still think Manny Pacquiao knocks him out. Why? Because that's what the common fans do. They see him as the younger version, and he's not that. Plus, a lot of them don't even remember Barrios, right? The first time the common fans even seen him was on the Jake Paul Tyson undercard, and a lot of people didn't even tune in for that fight. It was the first bout. So, you know, I'm looking at it as if you take the age out of it, is to me, in my opinion, with those common opponents, the styles that they fight, the come up, everything, it's a close fight on paper. The problem is, in I'm gonna take Shakur's take on this one, and you're not gonna like it. I can't pick the winner. I can't pick one. There's too many unknowns here. I know what Barrios brings, and he does bring a championship caliber, but it's not a caliber to me. He's not an elite, outstanding champion. And we don't know what Manny Pacquiao has left in the tank. We really don't know what's going through his head even, you know, taking on this type of fight. He has to be doing it for a reason. I don't think it's money. I don't think money's involved. I don't think this is a big, huge money grab for him at all. I can't pick against them, guys. I can't pick against the great Manny Pacquiao in this style of a fight. I can't, but I can't pick him either.
You know, let me phrase it this way: is he coming back? No step up fight, going directly for a title. Do we think he's going after Barrios because it is the weakest title grab?
Absolutely. That's absolutely.
James, you agree?
Well, that's a concept in fighting, and yeah, of course. It's a good opportunity. It's a good time for that to happen for him, anyway. I don't think it can. I think Mario Barrios is a lot stronger than that. And at 46, I think that Pacquiao has left a lot in the ring.
Barrios is standing to only get about 500 grand to $1 million. It looks like Pacquiao is going to bring in anywhere from 10 to 18 mil. So obviously, anytime Pacquiao fights, there's going to be money involved. But I kind of agree with you, Rob. I don't think he's doing it for money. I think if he really needed money, he could pick up sponsorships. There's other ways for Manny Pacquiao to make money, just like Floyd Mayweather. There's not a reason to come back unless he wants to. And that's the worrying part, is that he wants it. It's not I'm returning back because I got to. He wants to. This motherfucker misses beating people up. Like, I think that honestly. And he said basically, like, I've been trying to get my family to let me fight for at least the past couple of years. And if he wants to fight that bad, that's somebody that you should be taking seriously, Mario Barrios. I do not wish myself to be Mario Barrios. One, you knocked this man out. You knocked out and you hurt a legend that you could have let him go easily. You take him too easily and he might knock your ass out, and then you got knocked out by a 46-year-old man. There is no winning here for Mario Barrios. If I was him, I would be asking for a lot more money, because this is a lose-lose for poor Mario Barrios. You look at what happened to Tim Bradley. Tim Bradley had a good fight, although I did consider him losing that first fight against Manny Pacquiao. And Tim Bradley got death threats. Tim Bradley, that changed his whole life by winning the fight against Manny Pacquiao. The losing didn't do anything. The winning against Manny Pacquiao is what did it.
Yeah, but Hector Barrios has got his whole career ahead of him. He's got to win this. He cannot lose this fight. He loses this fight, it's over. And it's not like a big unification or anything.
It would be pretty bad for his reputation too. Like, you got beat by the old ass Manny Pacquiao.
So did Thurman, though. So did Thurman. I mean, we if we're talking old, I mean, what was he? 42? He's my age when he beat the shit out of Thurman.
I know, and that's why I'm not looking at the fight on the age. I'm not. But
Look,
listen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, and I hope CJ Hooker you're still on. But the rumor mill has hit. The game plan is to beat Barrios and take on Tank Davis for a legendary fight. That's what the rumor mill's saying. That's where Pacquiao's head is at, trying to take, his legacy to another level.
Why not Canelo?
Yeah, if that's the case, and I don't think I've heard that rumor. If that's the case, I really don't like that. I mean, what are we doing? Take up what?
The man has a death wish.
Two weight classes, or maybe at least
the
just
man
one.
has a death wish.
I don't even know about that. It's just it just don't make sense to me. I mean, I don't think it's that big of a fight. You know what I mean? If nothing else, Floyd coming out and doing Floyd Pacquiao 2 makes more sense than Tank Pacquiao. I don't get it myself. Yeah, I'm at a loss for that. I still don't know. Like, why does he want to come back? Why do you want to fight? You have to put your body through hell to even prepare, especially at this age. It can't be easy getting back into shape again. I'm worried for Pacquiao, but part of me is worried for Barrios. if I'm being honest, part of me is worried about him. If you're gonna take this too lightly, you might get fucked up yourself. Regardless, I love Pacquiao. I don't want to see his legacy get tarnished any more than what it is, but I don't know how to feel about this one. And Sakura right here is just right.
It's a strange arrangement here.
Yeah, he says he misses it. And let's face it, guys. I mean, Pacquiao, if he wants to be involved in the sport, I really can't see him training people. I can't see him commentating like Andre Ward. What else can Pacquiao do to remain in the sport other than just to continue to fight? He doesn't have the voice. He has no other way to just be around and be making money and still be in the sport spotlight. He can't.
Well, he has his own promotion company.
Yeah, but does he? I mean,
right. Most of the fighters he's going to try and promote are going to be out of Thailand anyway. Probably, and he probably has notoriety, and these guys get fights and stuff in Thailand there, but it hasn't really picked up like a rocket ship or anything here in the States.
No, but he's a promotional company, and he's got a president, and he's out there, and it's not just he's got like some big fighters. He's got a lot of talent behind him.
Yeah, he's there, but he's not in the spotlight like he would like to be. He's not involved enough with boxing.
He's not top rank and not BBC, but he's up and comer for sure. And he's got a president who takes good care of his business, and I think they're headed to bigger and better.
Okay. James, I got to put you on the spot.
Yes.
How you see this one going, bud? Rob refuses to answer, so I got to come to you.
Okay, so I'm gonna go Mario Barrios with either a late stoppage or a unanimous decision. UD.
I hate to say it, but I think I'm going to agree with you for the most part. I hate picking against Pac. I honestly do. I think I was one of the few, maybe even the only, maybe the only that picked him to win against Thurman. Everybody else was kind of leaning towards that way. But listen, and the Ugas fight, I would have picked Ugas even if Pacquiao was more into his prime. I think that was a terrible style matchup for Pacquiao. I would have never, if I was his matchmaker, put him in that kind of a fight. It's just bad news for him. And if similar to Lara, the Cuban style, Pacquiao should just stay far away from, in my eyes. But this fight is a little different. I think Pacquiao is going to put on a better fight than a lot of people expect. but he's not going to have enough in there still to win. 46 is still 46. I mean, we've seen some people break those age barriers in our minds. We've seen B-Hop do extremely amazing things at his age. Right. But 46 is 46, guys. I just don't think so. Like, I've seen him training in different videos to try to get like a feel of what version of Pacquiao we're getting. And there's times where he's on the heavy bag and I'm like, good God, he is back. And then the next minute of him just walking around and I'm like, never mind, he ain't getting past the sixth. So I don't know. I can't put it past him either, but I do think Barrios is probably going to end up walking away with this one. I just can hope that Pacquiao will get hurt in this final fight of his. And I honestly do hope it is his final fight. If he wins, I hope he re-retires, Rob. I hope what you're saying is definitely not true. I think that's a bad idea for him, for sure.
It is a bad idea.
But I want to hear from you guys. Please comment. How do you see this fight going? We got a few viewers. Does anybody think Pacquiao is winning this one? You always got the puncher's chance. I've seen some speed. Have you guys seen like the workout videos of Pacquiao?
Well, after Mike Tyson shit, I don't watch those anymore.
No. I'm not talking about just these 2-minute clips of, haha, that's all they could show of Mike because they knew better.
Everybody looks good on video.
That's true. Easily tampered with, I guess. But
no. I mean, if you're hitting pads, you look great. And Pacquiao looks great on pads, no question. And he's in shape, and he's gonna make weight. Yeah. We'll see that tomorrow morning, by the way. I gotta say, the one thing that I'm really looking forward to is Mario Barrios walkout, because he does the Aztec dancers and the whole thing, and I love that stuff. So that's my jam.
I do like that. I do like that. I hope Pacquiao makes a show too.
I would say Barrios by stoppage. Hopefully that works out.
Rob, you gonna give us one or no?
The only thing I'm saying, Barrios has been defeated. Pacquiao has been defeated. Father Time is undefeated. That's all I gotta say.
Look, most people come back to a sport, especially this sport, for money. Pacquiao misses it. And when you miss something that you're that passionate about, you're going to throw yourself back into it as hard as you can. So you can rest easy knowing that here in a couple days, Manny's going to get everything he's got. The question is what does he have? We don't know. At 46 years old, I can imagine is very hard on his body. But when you miss something, and that's something that you've only done your whole life, this is basically, he started this when he was really, really young, teenager. He is 46 years old and made a living out of doing it, hit the pinnacle of the sport. Barrios should still be worried. It's a 46-year-old man coming for your ass, but the power is always the last thing to go.
Let's not forget Big George.
Big George can do it. Pacquiao can do it. But Willie, we'll see you next week, and we'll let you know, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We're trying to do Thursdays. I think it's working out a little bit better. We're going to do 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. As always, we don't pull any punches, and we'll see you again next week.